What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video today. We're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 once again, and today we're going to be talking about worlds I want to see. Now, a lot of worlds have been confirmed at this point for Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm only going to include worlds on this list that have not been confirmed, obviously, because, they're not confirmed. I'm only including new worlds, not worlds we've returning worlds, simply because I want to make another video about that. Because I have a few I really want back, but I highly doubt we're getting back. Anyways, we're just going to jump right into this. In the first place I want to talk about is Treasure Planet. Yes, I know, it's on every single person on YouTube's list. Everyone's sick of seeing it, but it is such a good movie that is so underused. I really loved it growing up. It's a good movie. The characters are just so relatable. Random fact, I did not know that Joseph Gordon-Levitt played Jim. Or not Jim. Yeah, Jim. That's his name. Played Jim in that movie until just now when I'm looking up the cast on IMDb. I just pulled it up to make sure I had everyone's names, all the characters. I didn't want to sit here and say that guy, that guy, that guy. Because it has been a little while since I watched it. But I never knew that. I never knew Joseph Gordon-Levitt starred in that movie until just now. I didn't notice it. I could see it now, traveling on a ship through space, stopping at these other little planets. Which kind of would be weird considering you're on a ship that lands on a ship that goes to other yeah, you know what I mean. That's a little weird. But I could see that being a thing. Or even picking up right at the end on the final treasure planet. Even though that seems a little short for a world, but maybe I'm wrong. I could see it now opening with the death of Mr. Arrow when he falls off the boat. Just like in Pride Lands in number 2, he falls to his death. And that's how they opened up the beginning to the world. That's how you got introduced into the Pride Lands. I can see it now. Right when Mr. Arrow falls off the boat and dies would be the opening for Kingdom Hearts 3's Treasure Planet. It would be so sick. I mean, just to see Morph as such a comedy little good joke ender. I could see him messing with Donald and pissing Donald off. And man, this world would work so well with Kingdom Hearts 3. Not to mention, Silver is such an interesting character. He is such a cool villain, but at the same time mentor, but at the same time good guy. He would make a really good Kingdom Hearts villain / character for that simple fact of how his character shifts and how he does a 180 by the end of the movie. I feel like that would play so well with Kingdom Hearts 3. Just the theme behind Kingdom Hearts games is finding your light through the dark. Like, that character would work so well. But that's just me thinking that. And that brings us into our next world. This one's a little weird. It's a kind of a toss-up. A lot of people kind of judge when they do this, because in Birth by Sleep you had the world, it was like the racer world where all the old Disney characters, Minnie, Mickey, all of them were there, but it wasn't technically them. They were in this racetrack. I can't remember the name of the world off the top of my head. I probably should have looked it up, but because of that, I think different versions of our main world with the Disney characters exist. So I put on here Darkwing Duck / DuckTales. If you take that universe and make it its own world, can you imagine Donald's face when he runs into his nephews, or even himself in that world? Not to mention if Darkwing Duck could be a playable sidekick in the game. Not playable, I guess, but could join your party? Darkwing Duck as a party member? It'd be nuts. And even at the end of the world, I could see you getting Huey, Dewey, and Louie almost as a link to work together, or Darkwing, either one, honestly. But I don't know, I just feel like if you get Darkwing as a party member, they wouldn't give you him as a summon, because you don't really ever get that in Kingdom Hearts. But Huey, Dewey, and Louie as a summon, who knows what they're them. There's inventions they could use. They could just get weapons. I don't know. It'd be sick to think about that. The DuckTales universe is huge with all these different adventures they go on. I mean, there's so much stuff they could do with this world. Darkwing Duck, if you even go down his list of TV show episodes, there's so many adventures he went on. It'd be nuts to have that. If you combine both those into one universe, and honestly, you could do it. It wouldn't be hard. It's pretty easy. I'm pretty sure they're connected universes in the original, like the original canon. I don't know if canon's the right word for DuckTales. That seems a little too professional. Anyways, just seeing those two interact and seeing how Donald would interact in this world. Like, this is a world for Donald. I think it'd just be cool. I think Darkwing would make a great party member. It's just a cool design, and I think it's a good idea. I think they need to do it. Which now brings us into the next one on this countdown. I think The Incredibles needs to make an appearance. I know, it's overhyped because the new movie just came out. I haven't seen it yet. I love the first movie so much, and I have for years. Like, to drop Sora, Donald, and Goofy into a world with superheroes, a lot of people want to just see a Marvel world. Me, I find it would be weird to put those three characters with the likes of Spider-Man and Iron Man and interact in this universe. I don't feel like that works. I feel like that's just weird. It's kind of the same thing with Star Wars. Everyone wants to see Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts, but I'm like, those are pretty set. Like, you don't mess with the canon of those things. And to insert Riku, Sora, and Donald, and Goofy, and this whole story about the Heartless into those worlds is just, I don't feel like it works. It doesn't match the tone of the story. It doesn't really fit. That's why I think The Incredibles is a better pick. The Incredibles is your classic Disney movie with its family bonding tale. It's got everything you need to really get it going. Making Syndrome the main villain of the world. Making him work with the Heartless. Can you imagine how cool a Syndrome Heartless villain would be? Whether it's a giant Heartless and him combined, or he gets control of a huge Heartless with superpowers. Oh my god, can you imagine the party members you could get? Granted, I know they're not going to make it where you get to choose between like 4 or 5 different party members, but obviously I think it's going to be Mr. Incredible is going to be your party member. It's just kind of a given. I mean, if it's going to be any of them, that's who it's going to be. But he could have a power-up, like, you know, your Trinity, how it works when you do a Trinity with another character like in Kingdom Hearts 2. It creates almost like a cutscene. The final move that you use, that cutscene could honestly feature all the members of his family doing one giant attack. Which, granted, I think they're kind of fading out of that way of doing Trinities, but maybe I'm wrong. That world is just so, it's got the right tone for Kingdom Hearts. It's light, but it has its dark moments. Plus, I don't know, I just love The Incredibles. That's the main reason you put Disney Worlds on these lists, is because you love the world so much. You know what I mean? Now, getting into my next pick, we have A Bug's Life. I think this is one of those movies that has just been forgotten about over the years. A Bug's Life was so good growing up. Like, if you're a 90s kid that grew up... I was born in 95. I'm 22 years old. Bug's Life was the perfect... When it came out, its timing was right. I remember being a kid and watching this movie on VHS all the time. Seeing Flick and the others react. Flick having to go on this journey and find heroes, but he finds fake heroes. Imagine having all that interaction and seeing Flick and Sora meet up. Flick is this very conflicted character who can't seem to do anything right, who wants to impress everybody and do this crazy idea that's going to fix their community and save them from the grasshoppers. While Sora is kind of this character who went through a time where he was lost and had no one and found his friends again. And even made new friends along the way and gained his power and became a hero, to say. I just feel like those two, the chemistry there would be great. I don't really know how Grasshoppers and Heartless would react to each other. It would probably more than likely just be Hopper leading an army of Heartless into the ants' home and trying to destroy everything. But I feel like it's almost been done before. Quite a few times, actually. So maybe that part would be a little harder. They'd have to get pretty original with that. I don't think they would kill off... Maybe make the giant bird that kills Hopper... Well, it's not really giant. It's a normal-sized bird because they're the size of bugs. But the bird that kills Hopper at the end of the movie, make that bird the final boss. Or at least make him a boss in the middle of the game where it's almost like a mini-game. Like when you fight the cat in Birth by Sleep in Cinderella's world, it could work just like that. Where it's not really... you're fighting to the death, but you're just fighting to kind of be like, fuck off, bird. Do not eat me right now. That would be a good halfway through boss, and then... I can't figure out a main villain for this one. I can't figure out, like, a final boss. I'm sure it'd be Hopper, but he'd have to be powered up by the darkness or something to make it really worth doing. Just like Scar was at the end of Pride Lands. So getting into my next world. I had to sit down and really think about this, if this counted. I put Lilo and Stitch in this video. I know, technically, Stitch's world has been in Kingdom Hearts before. Technically. But you never actually went to Hawaii, the main place from the movies. You just saw the birth of Stitch, basically. So to me, you kind of know what happened in this world to begin with, but you didn't really get the full story. So if you went back for a full world experience, on Hawaii with the main characters, Lilo and Jumba, Pleakley, and Stitch, of course, even Gantu. They could even pick it up where the show was, with all the other experiments running around, like 625 working with Gunta. Well, Gantu. Wow, I said Gunta. What the fuck? Gantu. It would just be funny to watch those characters interact just like it was in the show. I love the show. I thought it was fine. A lot of people hate that show. I don't see why. I think it's great. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's a good Disney show. You don't even have to have this movie take place, or not the game take place in the movie. It could take place in the show and be fine because you still have that established way of doing things. But at the same time, I feel like Gantu's almost not villainous enough to be the main villain of the world. Because Gantu is more, I don't know, by the end of everything, after everything's said and done, Gantu is basically a hero in the Stitch universe. So, at the same time, Hamsterville would probably be your main villain, because, I mean, he's the main villain of the show. But then again, how would that work? Because he's in prison, and Hamsterville wasn't in the first Lilo and Stitch movie. I don't really know how that part works. But I don't know, if they want to go based on just the first movie, Gantu, I guess, could probably work as your main villain. Trying to bring Stitch back, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where the Heartless would play into this world, though. I really don't know how they would make Gantu interact with the Heartless or anything like that. Or even the organization / Guardian or Darkness Seekers. I really don't know what they're going to be called in this game, because I don't think they're technically called the organization anymore, even though Sora says it. They're technically like the Seekers of Darkness. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, that's the only problem. Once again, like with Bug's Life, that's the problem I would have with the world, is I don't know how you would do the main villain at the end. I think it would be cool to have little Easter eggs throughout with all the other little experiments he found in the show. If they decide to go with that, that would be really cool, because there's some really sick creatures in that. But if they go with just the movie story, I don't really know how they can make it work. So, honestly, I put Lilo and Stitch's TV show mainly for this world, not really the movie. I feel like that show would work really well. So, getting into our last world, this one I had a debate on, but it's just the perfect amount of dark to light. I chose Atlantis. Yeah, it's on a lot of people's countdowns. I know. But it's another one of those movies that I feel like doesn't get enough love in the world today. Like, Atlantis just, it's so interesting. Like, that whole premise behind the movie. Sure, you would have some really cool, okay, if the Heartless somehow mashed with, you know, the giant monsters that defended Atlantis when they were bringing in the submarine, that would be fucking awesome. That would be the sickest shit ever. The only problem is, how would you, I guess you could do a submarine battle, but if they haven't showed that off in a trailer yet, I doubt it's going to be in the game. I mean, Atlantis could be overrun by Heartless. When you get there and you fight off all the Heartless to get rid of them to help the Atlanteans, and then you turn and find the general's actually been the main villain the whole time trying to harvest the power of Atlantis, and actually winds up interacting and being empowered by the Heartless. So that's one way you could make the main villain. I think he's fine for the main villain of this world. You could make the story you could do with that's fine. It's perfect. It doesn't have the same problem as Bug's Life. My problem is with this world, the only issue I have is actually the beginning to the world. Like, where would they pick this up? Because I would hate to miss out on the entire submarine part. It's one of the best parts of the whole movie. But at the same time, I mean, it's not really necessary for Kingdom Hearts, so I guess they would just pick it up in Atlantis. It's just weird how in this world they had to work so hard to get to Atlantis, but Sora and them just boop, right in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only issue I have. But overall, I mean, it fits. It's got that perfect balance between light and dark. Just that gritty feel that would be so good for a Kingdom Hearts world. Anyways, though, I think we're going to wrap today's video up. It's getting on the longer side. Thank you guys for watching. And in the comments, make sure you leave me your picks. What would you like to see in Kingdom Hearts 3? If you liked my video and honestly felt the same way I did, if you liked any of these worlds, leave a comment. Let me know. I love discussing Kingdom Hearts 3, and if anyone wants to discuss it, I will gladly discuss it with you. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a wonderful day.